doubt, man. But we're talking about snubs. This is actually a good topic to say snubs, right? The expat snubs. And so let me paint the picture like Picasso. You dig? So according to the Arab News, right? I read this on their website. This was published in July 2023. Bahrain was the highest placed country in the Middle East when it came to a survey that was published by InterNations. So this is a global expat network of many expats around the world. So I think in this particular survey, there were over 12,000 respondents, and I think there were over 171 nationalities within those respondents. That's a lot, right? That's pretty good. Now, in terms of the categories, it was quality of life, it was ease of settling in, it was working abroad, and it was personal finance. All right. And then the fifth one, which is the overall index score. So Bahrain was number 9 on the list for Middle East, right? When it came to other Middle Eastern or Gulf countries, you had UAE at 11, Oman at 12, Saudi at 28, and Qatar at 31. 31.
Mm.
And the top 5 overall countries for expats to live in is Mexico, you have Spain, you have Panama, you have Malaysia, and you have Taiwan. Okay? So again, highest place was Bahrain, overall index, 9th place. And then Qatar was 31. What do you think about that, AB? Big facts or cap?
Huge facts, man. This is they definitely paid off that ranking. You know what I'm saying?
So you mean it's cap because they said that Bahrain was 9, so got to be cap.
I personally have not visited Bahrain, to be honest. I've
never been there either. I can't say it.
I've been to Saudi, I've been to UAE, and I've been to Qatar. Qatar is being my 3rd Gulf country.
Yeah, so Oman was 12th, by the way. You've been to Oman before?
No, I've been to Oman airports, but I haven't been to the country. But I heard Oman's like.
I've been to Oman. Yeah.
I've been Oman's like very beautiful. I heard it's like very it's very beautiful, nice people.
Very friendly people.
Yes, very friendly. Don't forget, Oman also has a lot of East Africans that live there because back in the day they used to live in Zanzibar. So that's why a lot of Omanis look East African. They have like, and they speak Swahili, so you know. So they have like Tanzania ties,
right
there. Anyways, in terms of Bahrain, I really can't speak about it. I saw the article. I didn't really read much about it, but I saw the comments and people were saying the same thing as cap. It's this and that. I can't speak for that, but I can only speak for Qatar. And first of all, to be even 31 is like ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's a little low, brother.
But it's weird because I feel like personally, I think it's a hit piece. Based on the fact that Qatar did a really good job hosting the World Cup.
Absolutely.
And a lot of media was doing smear campaigns on Qatar in regards to like the workers and this and that and the but even though these smear campaigns were happening, Qatar smashed, like they did a superb job in the World Cup. So a lot of these magazines and these publishers are just throwing shade, and I feel like this is one of those things where they throw shade where you can't really think about what Bahrain has done in the last like 10 years. I don't know what they have done. I don't know what it's a very small country, if you even can call it a country, and no shade to them, but I'm just speaking the truth.
No shade any of these countries, no shade.
No shade, but in terms of likability, in terms of culture, in terms of religion maintenance, like you can see Qatar is probably one of the few Gulf countries where you see Muslims, like where you see practicing Muslims, and the foundation is a Muslim country, and living here for so long, you see it, you feel it, and also it's one of the few places where in the West we speak about a sense of community. Okay, so and only a Westerner will understand what I'm saying, where you feel like when you're in the West, you feel like you're part of a community where there's food drives, where there is community halaqas and all these things, and so many. You're part of the bigger equation when you and only someone from like Canada or America or UK will understand exactly what I'm referring to, because it is like when you have a community, you feel like you're doing more for your deen. Yeah. And Qatar is one of the closest things that feeling has here. Like back home, it's similar to here. So if you are someone who's trying to seek out uh, that with culture, with religion, with yeah, is it expensive? Yes, it is. It is expensive, but that always goes back to your cost of living and how you live your life. If you're trying to live a lifestyle, then of course then you'll find it here. If you're trying to live within your means, then yes, you also find it here as well. So, and that also applies to the West. Okay, when I'm in Canada, if I'm trying to ball out, I can ball out. If I'm trying to live within my means, I can live within my means. So don't just be fixated on the fact that Qatar is so expensive and Qatar doesn't. Every country is expensive. Every country has inflation. Every country has a cost of living that either is favorable or unfavorable. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Even Mexico, the number one place on the number one spot according to that list. But just to me, it's bogus. It is what it is. But that's how I feel. I think it's a hit piece. That's my 2 cents.
That's interesting, bro. And I appreciate you, going into it and being transparent about how you feel about everything. Because part of this, I just couldn't relate. You know how you read something, you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, it doesn't seem that this is the whole story, right?
Yes.
Because Qatar being on the list 31, you know how something seems criminally like underrated?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, this is no way this 31. Like, we should be talking about the top 10. Like, what are we talking about? So, to address what you were saying, I'm looking at the first column, right? The first column or category they were talking about was quality of life. Let's address the healthcare. This healthcare, if you're from the West, Canada, US, or the UK, you automatically would feel like this healthcare system is way better than the one in your country. I can't speak for Canada. I can't speak for UK in terms of how we get billed in the US. But so many people don't want to go to the hospital because they don't want a surprise bill.
Forget the hospital, the ambulance.
Or even just getting into the ambulance, stepping into there. I don't know how much it costs.
Some people would rather call an Uber.
Right. Just to get to the hospital so they can skip the ambulance bill at least. But it's like me going to Starbucks or going into a coffee shop and I have no clue what I'm paying for and how much it costs until I actually buy it. Oh yeah, by the way, it's $25. Huh? I'm shocked now. I'm offended. I'm appalled. Why does it cost so much? So in the US, I know the bills get out of hand. One of the I guess I can't say number one, number two, but I think number one or number two, the ways that people get into debt in the US especially is by medical.
Facts. No, it's true.
Those
You're right.
medical bills and the healthcare bills.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to be charged for, and it's ambiguous what your insurance actually covers.
Facts.
But here, I don't really pay for anything that much. Like if I do, it's not expensive, right? It's definitely subsidized, or it's just a low cost for me based on what my company provides for me. I just feel like it's way better. At least it's transparent. I know what the prices are. That's for me. Travel. I'm in the middle of everywhere in the world. I'm in the Middle East, the middle of everything, right? So I could travel to so many places that are farther away from me if I was in the US. But because I'm here, it's closer to me, right? And Qatar Airways has received numerous awards for being the best airline. So how is travel suffering? Yes, it's expensive, but overall, travel everywhere in the world is expensive now. Safety, security. It's the first time I've been called an American. I walk into high-rise areas. I walk into gated communities. No one says, get out of here, or worried that I'm black and I'm going to do something. No one's they checking me for my race here. My wife can run at 11 o'clock at night. No one's bothering her. She doesn't have to worry about being attacked or abducted or fearing for her life. So safety security are top notch here in Qatar. Let's go to the next one. What was the next topic? It was ease of settling in. Next category. Looking at local friendliness. Now, again, I could say Qataris are not necessarily the ones that are going to say, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" Like, no, they're not necessarily going to say that. No, not at all. But they're not bothering you either.
They don't care.
They don't care. They're in their own world. They're walking, they're chilling, they with their family, with their wife
Man.
and the husband. They're
As
not
they should.
for
As
you.
they should.
You're right, as they should. They're not checking for you, right? I don't need a hello from them. Right? And the ones that I deal with, they're absolutely fine. They're well adjusted. We're all doing the same things in life, regardless of a Qatari or Canadian or this. I don't have any issues. I've seen some things, right? But any country you can see some things. Like, wow, why did he act like that? Or why did she act like that? One person doesn't denote everyone. One person doesn't denote the large paintbrush for the whole, culture, right? For the whole people. So that's another thing. Ease of finding friends. Man, AB, you can say this. If you're on Facebook, the groups are popping on Facebook.
Yeah, 100%.
Facebook groups are popping here. Like, you can get into any type of conversation with someone and pose a question in some of these groups, and plenty of people will flood you and say, "Hey, do this, do that." You
need to be open-minded.
Be open-minded, right? There's a lot of groups. There's meetup groups here. I Love Qatar can point you to the right direction to different events that are going on. Your workplace will actually probably be a good starting base for friends and doing things together with a group, and then building your own branches outside of that, right? So there's definitely places to meet friends. Culture, Qatar has a strong culture. They're 10 toes down in their culture, 10 toes down in their religion, right? You know what I'm saying? They're going to make sure that stuff is going to be preserved here in this country, and that they're going to share it with you as well. They're so hospitable, right? But like I said, they're not going to be in your business. "Hey, how you doing, neighbor?" No, it's not how they are. But they're very hospitable. What's the third one? Third category in this survey was working abroad. We're here for working abroad, right? It's the reason why we're here.
Still here.
So, right. So career, they said what? Salary, job prospects, job security, work culture. Now, this economy, like I said, may not be producing as many jobs, right? But this is also not a magic wand where you could just produce jobs out of nowhere, right? They're in the process of getting more companies to come over. They have established Qatar free zones, right? They're doing business all over the world with companies. It's just a matter of if we are a preferential place versus other places that are preferential for other companies. It just depends on those things. But the work is definitely being done on that. If you're in education like myself and AB, there's tons of schools here. Every year I see another American school pop up. A British school pop up. There's a lot of British schools here just by default, right? IB school pop up. So education is definitely here, especially if you want to be a teacher. There's a lot of positions in this country as well. Salary, pretty good. If you're, I only can speak for education. I don't know the other, industries like that, but for education, it's definitely pretty good. The accommodations you get, and then you get your base salary that's separate. So your accommodation, if you're in the U.S. or Canada, you're paying everything from that one lump sum that you get in your check. But this is like, hey, you get 8,000 real or 9,000 real, plus you get your 12,000, 13,000 base salary as well, and that 9,000 is for living or whatever. Then you got your base as well, just for anything else. And then some places give you a travel allowance, phone allowance. I mean, all different things. And every time you look at salary, you have to look at, okay, what makes sense for my family? You got to negotiate. Not every package is going to make everyone jump out of the gym to come over, to Qatar, right? Not everybody jumping out of the gym for certain things. But for some families, you're like, yes, that's what I've been looking for. Yes, where do I sign up?
Yeah.
It depends on what you want. Now, I do find it hard to move from one company to another sometimes, right? There's maybe some limited or stiff competition, right, within that. But that's everywhere. We're all competing against each other. This is a globalized economy now.
Facts.
It's not a national economy. So the last thing I'm going to address with that, is personal finance. I don't really know what that means. I think the country's doing pretty well from their own personal finances and things like that. So I can't see how Qatar is low on the list if we're the top 3 or 4 GDP in the world, right? I don't know. I don't know. One of the richest countries I always hear, Qatar's one of the richest countries in the world. For personal finances, we're not over reliant on liquid gas and things like that. So I don't know. I'm just speaking from an expat experience. I'm not in the government. I'm not talking about any government people or anything like that. AB, did I miss anything? Because I really feel umbrage with that 31 placement. I don't really feel like it was deserved at all. Okay.
Definitely not deserved. But
No.
no, you've hit everything on the nail. Sorry, you've hit everything on the head of the nail.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say, man. It's just
yeah.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You get what you give, you know?
Yeah. Kalo K, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Kalo K, you know.
Kalo K, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just one of those things that we're, you know, and I want to make this disclaimer as well. For myself and AB, we're speaking for ourselves. Obviously, there's different levels of expats, unfortunately, because of nationality or different jobs or different salary bands you could be exposed to based on your passport or where you're from. We're just speaking from us as an American expat, as a Canadian expat. I can't speak for everybody around the world in terms of what your expat experience is, but for our experience, this is what our truth is. You know what I mean? In terms of that. So our truth thing that has come up again, our truth, right? We're gonna leave. But again, Qatar shouldn't be 31 on that list. I don't know how they are, but you know, maybe in other surveys and things like that, they'd be a little bit higher. You know, so we'll see. We're just trying to give you all the real truth. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah. AB, that is it, man. We still happen to be at 1 hour and 20 minutes on 3 questions.